There we go. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to call the Accountability Administrative Review Committee to order at 10:03. So up first, we have Senator Leno, who will be presenting SB 703. Senator, if you'd like to proceed, please.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, colleagues. For over 10 years now, California has prohibited discrimination when contracting with businesses, prohibiting those businesses from discriminating in the provision of benefits provided to their employees on a number of bases, including gender identity, and specifically with regard to health care. But our California businesses, which must comply with our law, there are now about 8 other states that do the same, along with the District of Columbia. When our California-based businesses are contracting with the state of California, they're at a competitive disadvantage with out-of-state companies which do not provide these equal benefits. So this bill will level the playing field for our California businesses. It will also save taxpayers money because when companies provide equal benefits to their employees, employees don't have to rely upon the public dollar to get their health care benefits. And so by requiring anyone who contract over $100,000 with the state of California to provide equal benefits to all their employees. So I want to say this real clearly. This bill does not require any employer to hire any employee he or she does not wish to hire. This bill does not require an employer to provide any benefit he or she does not want to require. It just says that if you want to benefit from the taxpayer dollars of the state of California by contracting with us, if you provide a benefit to any employee, you must provide that benefit to all employees. It's about fairness and equality. Nothing special, has the side effect of leveling the playing field for California businesses, and will also subsequently save taxpayers dollars spent on benefits that some employers don't currently provide. I ask for your vote.
Appreciate that, Senator. So we have a motion by Mr. Frazier, a second by Mr. Rodriguez. Senator, I do thank you for your comments. This is a tailored bill. It does have a due recommendation passed from the chair. With that, let me open it up to my colleagues for any questions or comments. And maybe before we do that, since now I see we have a quorum, let's go ahead and establish a quorum. Madam Secretary.
Salas?
Present.
Salas present. Lackey?
Here.
Lackey present. Bro?
Here.
Bro present. Burke? Here. Burke present. Frazier?
Here.
Frazier present. Gaines? Irwin? Medina? Rodriguez?
Here.
Rodriguez present.
Okay, now that we've established quorum, let me go ahead and open it up for questions and comments by members on the dais. Mr. Lackey?
Yeah, I apologize for being a little bit late, so you may have already answered my question, but how big is the issue here, and do we have evidence that it's truly a problem?
Well, we know that in 42 other states, there is no requirement to provide equal benefits. California led the way with our equal benefits statute about 10 years ago. 8 other states have followed. But we know that there are 42 other states. So you, employer, can discriminate. You can provide a benefit to some employees and deny that same benefit, that equal benefit, to other employees, and it's completely legal in 42 other states. So I can't provide you, Assemblyman, with any specific data points, but I can tell you that it's completely legal to discriminate in 42 states.
Well, certainly no one up here supports discrimination. I just want to know how big this problem is that we're trying to bring this remedy to.
Probably 42 states big.
Thank you. Additional comments, questions for members on the dais? Okay. Let me ask if for testimony and support, please.
Good morning, Mr. Mr. Chair and members of the committee. My name is Sasha Bookert, and I'm a staff attorney at Transgender Law Center, and we are here in support of SB 703, the Equal Benefits Opportunity Bill. Currently, transgender workers who work for companies who are contracted with the state of California are often denied equal benefits for the same work, and that has huge impacts on their life. When folks don't have the access to care that their coworkers enjoy, that means that they have to delay treatment, which the American Medical Association states can lead to debilitating depression and significant psychological distress, which isn't good for the person or for the workplace. On the other hand, when folks are able to access the care that they need, their morale improves, productivity improves, and their retention improves. So we would just ask the committee to vote aye in favor of SB 703 for transgender workers.
Thank you for your testimony. Additional testimony and support.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Alice Kessler here on behalf of Equality California. We're a co-sponsor of the bill and would just state that California's equal benefits law that's been in place since 2003 has worked really well, has not incurred costs for the state. This would just expand it to cover gender identity in the same way that virtually all of our non-discrimination laws cover both sexual orientation and gender identity in California. So we would ask for your aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Additional testimony and support. Okay, hearing and seeing none. Testimony in opposition.
I don't believe we have any opposition.
Fabulous. Hearing and seeing none, let me open it once more for the new members that arrived to the dais for questions or comments. Okay, hearing and seeing none, we have a motion, we have a second. Madam
Chair,
Secretary,
if
yes.
you could afford me literally
Close.
2 minutes. I've got
Absolutely.
a little fun anecdote to share with you. When I was on the County Board of Supervisors, I authored a local ordinance which provided equal access to our county health plan for transgender employees. I think we had about 17 out of 30,000 employees at the time, and they were excluded from our health plan. And I got invited on to Bill O'Reilly's show for the first time. And so Bill O'Reilly asked me, supervisor, of course, at the top of his lungs, I'll spare you the drama. He said, why should my tax dollars go to pay for someone's sex change operation? I said, well, Bill, that's not what this ordinance is about. If you are a non-transgender employee of the city and county of San Francisco and you need a hysterectomy, a mastectomy, hormonal treatment, psychiatric treatment, the county health plan will pay for all of it. But if you're a transgender employee in the city and county of San Francisco and you need the identical medical care, the county health plan pays for none of it. Bill's response was, Supervisor, you make a compelling argument. So I would ask for your aye vote.
It's a good story to share. Thank you, Senator. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
The motion is due pass and refer to Committee on Appropriations. Salas.
Aye.
Salas, aye. Lackey.
No.
Lackey, no. Bro. Bro, no. Burke. Aye. Burke, aye. Frazier. Absolutely. Frazier, aye. Gaines. No. Gaines, no. Irwin.
Aye.
Irwin, aye. Medina. Rodriguez. Aye. Rodriguez, aye.
That's my understanding.
Okay, Senator, you have 5 votes. That bill is out. We will leave the roll open for others to add on.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, committee members, for your attention.
Thank you. All right. Senator Liu, if you'd like to come up and present on members, this is item number 2, SB 255. Senator, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good morning to members. SB 255 updates and clarifies the government code related to the California Commission on the Status of Women and Girls. First, it makes an update to the current membership of the Commission. This correction reflects the change in duties of the Labor Commissioner, who now acts as the Chief of the Division of Labor Standards Enforcement in the Department of Industrial Relations, a position that no longer exists. Additionally, SB 255 clarifies that the provision of the Bagley-Keene Open Meetings Act do not apply to meetings or activities conducted solely for the purpose of fundraising. Specifically, the bill notes that the Commission may conduct fundraising activities that require payment or purchase to attend. As a result of legislation passed in 2012-13 legislative session, the California Commission on the Status of Women and Girls was charged with raising private funds and reducing its reliance on state funding. Though the Commission has raised $26,000 in fiscal year 13-14, the task has proven difficult and cumbersome due to the restrictions passed or placed on commissioners and staff related to the Open Meetings Act. In addition to publicly noticing all meetings and allowing members of the public to attend these meetings free of charge, no more than 2 commissioners may meet to discuss items related to the Commission outside of noticed meetings. This means that currently the Commission spends a substantial amount of time discussing fundraising matters in its general business meeting. Here today to testify are Nancy Kirshner Rodriguez, Executive Director of the California Commission on the Status of Women and Girls, and Lori Damerl, Commissioner and member of the Fundraising Subcommittee for the Commission.
Thank you, Senator. Let's go ahead and move to testimony and support, please.
Good morning, Chairman Salas and members of the Accountability and Administrative Review Committee. My name is Nancy Kirshner Rodriguez, and I am the Executive Director of the California Commission on the Status of Women and Girls. The 17 members of the Commission are excited to sponsor SB 255 by Senator Liu, a measure that will positively impact the trajectory of the Commission for years to come. The Commission is mandated to focus on identifying and eliminating inequities in laws, practices, and conditions that negatively impact California's more than 19 million women and girls. This year, the Commission celebrates its 50th anniversary, but several years ago in the 2012-2013 session, legislation directed the Commission to fundraise to fully support its operations and program expenses. The transparency statutes that guide the day-to-day working of California state government and enable active participation from the public have unfortunately made the effective implementation of active fundraising challenging for commissioners and staff. We believe the clarifications outlined in this bill give realistic guidance and reasonable flexibility for implementation of fundraising programs while also preserving the public's right to transparent government operations. SB 255 clarifies the Commission's ability to fundraise to support its ongoing programs and operations and would enable the Commission to both effectively sponsor fundraising events and cultivate independent financial support for our work in our 50th year and beyond. We urge your passage of this important legislation. Thank you.
I move
Thank you
the
for
bill.
your testimony. Additional testimony and support.
I'll just introduce myself. So I'm Lori Damerl. I'm a commissioner on the commission and also am one of the 2 commissioners on the fundraising subcommittee as well as the budget subcommittee. I'm also, as an aside, a lawyer in private practice. But I can speak to, and I've been intimately involved in the fundraising efforts for the commission and would be happy to answer any questions that you may have related to the challenges that we've faced as we've been going through that process.
Thank you. Let me open it up. Additional testimony and support. Hearing and seeing none. Testimony in opposition. Hearing and seeing none, let me turn it to my members on the dais. Comments or questions? I believe the bill has been properly moved and seconded. Senator, would you like to close?
I just would appreciate your support in the bill. It does remove barriers to fundraising that currently hinder the Commission's effort to raise money, and I simply ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Senator. This does have a due pass recommendation from the chair. I do appreciate that you are trying to fix this little problem so that people can actually fundraise for the commission. It is a worthy cause. And with that, Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
The motion is due pass and re-refer to Committee on Appropriations. Salas.
Aye.
Salas, aye. Lackey.
Aye.
Lackey, aye. Bro. Bro, aye. Burke. Burke, aye. Frazier. Frazier, aye. Gaines. Irwin. Irwin, aye. Medina. Rodriguez. Rodriguez, aye.
Okay. All right, Senator, that has 7 votes. That's sufficient to get out of this committee. We will leave the roll open for others to add on.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, members.
All right, members, we will now move to file item number 5, SB 573 by Senator Pan. Senator Pan, if you can. Members, this bill may look familiar to you. It is very similar to a bill that this committee had seen with Assemblymember Ting, which this committee had passed. So, Senator Pan, if you'd like to begin.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. SB 573 increases access to state-collected data for public use, which will improve transparency and accountability, increase efficiency, create cost savings across all state agencies, and foster innovative economic development. SB 573 fosters creation of a robust statewide open data portal to publicize and centralize data sets in collaboration with our state agencies with support from an appointed state chief data officer. The Chief Data Officer will provide direction for standardizing data processes that require cross-agency participation. A statewide data portal can generate billions in economic development. California is the global center of the open data business movement and home to 133 open data companies who use open data to generate new businesses and develop products and services and create hundreds of thousands of jobs across California. This includes Yelp, Zillow, ESRI, Realtor.com, and Google Maps. Open data also boosts civic engagement. For example, governments have used open data to obtain feedback on public sector programs, such as the participatory budgeting efforts that increase citizen involvement in the process. Currently, 10 states and both the cities of San Francisco and Los Angeles have established open data portals. San Francisco's access to real-time transit information has resulted in a decrease in 311 call volume, saving the city over $1 million a year. In Los Angeles, open government data allowed the Newton Division to develop technology that reduced gun-related homicides by 22.6% a month. Both the California Health and Human Services Department and the State Controller's Office have established their own data portal. However, as more agencies and cities establish their own portals, the result may be a set of fragmented data systems that will create confusion, lack uniform transparency, and may ultimately hinder access to state data instead of facilitating it. The Chief Data Officer will work with agencies to standardize the state's data policies and index millions of records and centralize more data while ensuring privacy and security. Consider the story of Opower from San Francisco, a company built directly from government publication of residential energy surveys. Opower unlocked the value of the data and directly created 400 family-wage local jobs, a multi-billion-dollar industry, and up to 50% savings for local energy ratepayers. This translates into direct savings for working families, less energy consumption, and jobs. This is an example of what we've been able to do with little access to open government data. The list of similar anecdotes stretches into volumes. The underlying principle is this: when the public's data is often a drain on government when locked away, when this same data is published, it has the power to generate untold economic benefits. SB 573 will allow the state to open its data in a secure and efficient manner, which has the potential to vastly improve our government's efficiency and accountability and foster economic development. SB 573 is supported by a diverse coalition, has received no formal opposition. I respectfully ask for an aye vote. And with me here to testify in support of the bill is Maury Blackman, President and CEO of Acela Incorporated. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Testimony and support, please.
Paul Gladfelty representing Data Transparency Coalition. I will be very brief. We were the sponsors of AB 1215 Ting bill. It was a unanimous vote by this committee. I really can't say how important this issue is, really, as the chair knows, moving the state forward with transparency and data, and it provides lots of benefits. Unfortunately, the Appropriations Committee didn't see fit to pass this bill out of committee, and we're going to work on that with Mr. Pan. So I would ask respectfully for your aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Additional testimony and support.
Kat DeBerg with the Health Officers Association of California in support. Good data drives good policy. Thank you.
Thank you. Move the bill. Let me ask if there's additional testimony and support. Hearing and seeing none, let me ask if there's testimony in opposition. Hearing and seeing none, the bill's been moved by Mr. Frazier, seconded by Mr. Rodriguez. Senator, would you like to close?
I just have a quick question.
Sure. No.
Will the officer be creating a new portal or approving the old one?
So the purpose of the Chief Data Officer is actually to help coordinate the various state agencies and setting standards so we can establish a state open data portal. And also, the thing is, we have different agencies starting to move in this direction. As we heard, the Department of Health and Human Services. You want to be sure that we actually have a coordinated approach to this, because if you're an entrepreneur, right, and you're looking at opportunities to take state data, if you have different agencies with different standards and so forth, that's a lot more work and also cost to you to try to figure out how to integrate that. And it's actually less available, therefore, to the public. So the idea of the state data officer, which is different than the chief technology officer, has to deal with the programs and so forth. It's actually establishing standards for how we organize the data in a way that's going to make it more accessible, especially when you have cross-agency data, right? If all the data is held in one agency, hopefully they'll do it themselves. But sometimes you have data in one agency, another day another agency, and someone said, hey, there's an opportunity if we can link the two, right? And if it's been set up that way, which is what the chief data officer, by saying the standards, will do, then it becomes much more available. We don't want a bunch of fragmented data systems that make it more difficult for people to tap into it.
So the short answer is create a new one.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Additional comments or questions from members on the dais? Okay, hearing and seeing none. Senator Pan, would you like to close?
Respectfully ask for an aye vote. This is an opportunity to actually take data we already collect in the state tremendously and make it more available to the public and actually for entrepreneurs as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Yeah, I agree with the transparency, and I do appreciate what you're trying to get at in terms of the standardized platform, which in itself, when you have a standardized platform, it creates innovation. Some of the applications that you've already mentioned, Zillow and some of the others. So with that, it does appreciate a due pass recommendation from the chair. Madam Secretary, call the roll.
The motion is due pass and referred to Committee on Privacy and Consumer Protection. Salas?
Aye.
Salas, aye. Lackey?
Aye.
Lackey, aye. Bro? Bro, aye. Burke? Burke, aye. Frazier? Frazier, aye. Gaines? Gaines, aye. Irwin? Irwin, aye. Medina? Rodriguez? Rodriguez, aye.
Senator, that has 8 votes left to get out. We'll hold the roll open for additional members to add on. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Members, at this time, as we are waiting for a final author, let's go ahead and take up the consent calendar. That is file item number 3, SB 273, file item number 4, SB 536. Consent calendar has been moved and seconded. Madam Secretary, call the roll.
For SB 273, Wessel, the motion is due pass and refer to Committee on Appropriations. Salas?
Aye.
Salas, aye. Lackey?
Aye.
Lackey, aye. Bro? Bro, aye. Burke? Burke, aye. Frazier? Frazier, aye. Gaines? Gaines, aye. Irwin? Irwin, aye. Medina? Rodriguez? Rodriguez, aye. For SB 536, Roth, the motion is due pass and refer to Committee on Veterans. Salas?
Aye.
Salas, aye. Lackey?
Aye.
Lackey, aye. Bro? Bro, aye. Burke? Burke, aye. Frazier? Frazier, aye. Gaines? Gaines, aye. Irwin? Irwin, aye. Medina? Rodriguez? Rodriguez, aye.
Okay, members, I believe our author is on her way. Okay, members. File item number 1, AB 1405, Grove, has been pulled. And with that, I will leave the roll open for additional committee members to add on to votes for 5 more minutes. Thank you, members.